As we stand out here in front of another huge yard filled with this material that's coming in, I'm just overwhelmed by the fact that this is the only place, not only in California, not only in the United States, but this is the only facility in the world that properly recycles all of this material.
Yes, we're the only facility in the United States that actually could convert these types of materials into the recycled commodities and then put them right back into respective industries.
Now, what was happening to it before?
Well, the problem really stems from the fact that for years, companies were sending materials like this to third world countries, primarily in Asia. And they were using child labor to extract any viable materials out of those products, and including cyanide as a process to extract gold, child labor issues, pollution issues, because the remains of all these materials were being dumped on riverbeds. And it was causing a huge pollution problem.
All right, there's a law now. Let's walk around here while you talk to me about the law. And this is a law that I don't think most of us even know about, do we, John?
No, we really don't. I think the bottom line, Huell, is that people really have to take a step back and reassess how they are dealing with electronic waste in their companies and even as individuals, because there is a new law. It's the 2003 Consumer Electronics Recycling Act in California that makes it illegal to dump monitors, TVs, any kind of cathode ray tube, as well as other kinds of electronic materials in landfills. And basically it's really to protect the environment and to promote reuse of the commodities that Jim's able to strip out of these machines.
But nobody knows about this law.
One of the problems is that the state passed this law, and it's really actually a pretty heavy-handed law if you look at the statutes. But of course, there's a budget crisis in California. It hasn't really been very heavily promoted, so a lot of people that need to know it really aren't aware of it. Our company's tried to educate a lot of people in our marketing materials, but there's still a real gap in terms of awareness.
And I should mention that in January 2006, all electronics will now be banned from the landfill, not only just the CRTs.
Exactly.
So literally everything that has a cord attached to it will be prevented from going into the landfill.
And this is a huge amount of material.
Well, they say that 63 million computers a year become obsolete in the United States. They say that 6 million monitors alone are stockpiled in closets in California right now.
Not having any place to put them.
Not having any place to put them.
And what would be the negative aspect of just throwing them in the landfill?
Well, I'll tell you what, there are, on the laws, serious offenders are subject to $25,000 fine and cleanup costs.
But, I mean, what would be bad about putting this in the ground?
Well, I mean,
because it takes up space?
No, it's the lead content in the monitors. There's anywhere from 4 to 8 pounds of lead that leaches down into the groundwater table.
Exactly, that's the problem. It's managing the toxins that are involved, and it's actually the second largest industry in the world next to automobiles.
Is what?
Electronics.
So right now, in all of the world and in all of the states except California, these things are still going down into the ground.
Well, there are some states that have, you might want to...
There are states that have some e-waste laws. I think California is the first one that's really got comprehensive legislation. And from what we understand, all the other states in the union are poised to replicate California's laws, and so that there's somewhat of a universal code throughout the country.
So once again, we're the leaders in this area.
As usual.
And actually, the state of California helped fund this operation. They loaned us about $700,000 to help build this facility here.
Wow. Well, a great facility it is, and you're doing a good job.
Thank you very much.
You took care of our pile of old monitors at
Happy to do
KCET.
so.
You're taking care of a lot more than anything we can provide. Look at all this stuff, and this is just the tip of the iceberg, isn't it?
Absolutely. As much as you can bring into the facility, we'll be more than happy to handle that environmental liability.
You're never going to run out of material.
No.
Because this stuff gets obsolete very quickly.
Yeah, within a couple of years, 2 to 3 years, it becomes obsolete, and it's turned over on just a rapid basis.
In fact, be honest, you have your eye on our camera right now, don't you? What did you tell us?
In regards to what?
That you want it.
Oh, yeah, I figured within 3 years, this microphone and that camera will probably end up in my machine. I'll be happy to show you some samples of where it ended up going.
In other words, all this is going to be obsolete.
Including electronic watches, if you have one.
Hopefully, even though my watch, the microphone and the camera will be chewed up, I still won't be obsolete. I'll still have a job.
But with new equipment, though.
You're one of a kind, Jewel. You'll have a job forever.
This has been absolutely amazing. The name of your company?
Easy Waste Incorporated.
They come and pick up the stuff, and your company?
Electronics Partners Corporation.
They grind it up and give it a new life.
Yes, sir.
Both of these companies are doing their part to help keep California green.
This land is your land, and this land is my land. From the California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. As I went a-walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway, saw below me